as we now present to you our next session on measuring for procurement success. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Anand, Sales Director, Ivalua India and South Asia. Welcome, sir. Looking forward to learning a lot more about you about procurement success.
Thanks, Tisha. Good afternoon, everyone. And I hope everyone is doing fine. I'm very glad to be here. And what I'm going to talk in next couple of minutes is talking about measuring procurement success. We will talk about maybe the organizations that are in advanced stages of digitization. What kind of KPIs are they measuring, and and how they are providing a competitive edge to their organizations. What I'll do is before I start my presentation, I just want to kind of provide maybe a kind of 30-second intro on Ivalua. I'm not sure maybe how many of you have heard about that. So we provide your unified source-to-pay solutions, enabling your processes on supplier lifecycle management, source-to-award, contract negotiation, and monitoring of obligations, and also enabling your procure-to-pay processes for transactional procurement. Providing analytical and predictive insights across source-to-pay. What's important is we also enable and digitize your processes not only for indirect categories, but also for your direct CapEx and services. So saying that, I think let's come to our topic for today. And so let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so let's so if you look at with the changing role of procurement, so the procurement is not only responsible for your cost reduction or kind of improving profitability, your employee satisfaction, or improving efficiencies, but there is also a huge focus on managing your risk. Not just your the supply chain risk, but risk which is linked to your the financials, your the regulations, your political risk, and also working with suppliers to drive innovations and reduce your time to market. And then if you look at on the top, the sustainability is a huge focus. So organizations are being measured on their CSR initiatives, environmental initiatives, and that's all kind of increasing the priorities for procurement. At the same time, if you look at and this is where I think the entire world is going through your COVID-19 pandemic. And I just put some of the names here, and if you look at some of these organizations, and they are our customers also. They had to realign their supply chains and find new suppliers to meet your immediate priorities. Just an example, like your Louis Vuitton, they had to kind of identify their new supply base and find new material, and they have to kind of manufacture your sanitizers. Same goes for your, if you look at your L'Oreal. And Honeywell had to kind of realign their production lines to manufacture your mask for your healthcare workers and your first responders. If you look at on the financial services or on the AP side, banks have to work to accelerate the payment to the small suppliers. So basically, they don't kind of face your cash problems. Now, saying this, if you look at with all this growing objectives, and it needs your agility, and one should be able to adapt to change very quickly. So this is what some of the results I'm presenting here. And recently, as March 2020, we did a survey with Forrester, and it was done for small to large organizations. 400 organizations participated in that. We looked at their the current priorities. We looked at the current performance, and then how they're working to achieve that. So if you look at there's a detailed report that we can share with you. There are I think close to like 13 priorities where all these organizations mentioned that they are crucial or very important to their business. And if you look at the top 5, so top 5, everyone is talking about data is new oil. And so organizations are looking at how to improve their data quality to generate those insights. Digitization, and then we hear a lot, so this is where to automate your processes, connect to your stakeholders, free up the bandwidth of your, the procurement function, from your repetitive task, and, help them kind of spend more time on your strategic activities, improving your supply chain agility to meet your demand volatility, and all the ongoing risks that we see in the supply chain. Cost reduction, I don't need to talk. I think that's what procurement has been doing for a long time. And with all these changes, it also kind of needs a skill development. Maybe having people in procurement who have good skills or analytics, good skills, good soft skills, because you have to interact with people outside procurement function, with your colleagues in sales and marketing, and also with your suppliers, helping drive innovation. So it needs some kind of new skill and upskilling that's required in the procurement function in the new world. So saying this, what we are seeing, and there is a widening gap, when it comes to capabilities where the organizations are in the advanced stage of digitization versus maybe organizations which are in your early stages. So if you look at these are some of the areas which you look at, it represents most of your core processes. But what is maybe shocking here is that if you look at the difference between the organizations that are in the advanced stage versus the organizations at the beginning stage, if you look at the organizations which are in the beginning stage, they're more measuring your very few KPIs. And if you look at these KPIs are very core to business, in terms of how frequently you are measuring your supplier performance, how do you segment your supply base, collaborate with them on improvement programs for cost reduction, process engineering, monitoring of your contracts, and managing this obligation, which becomes a challenge, especially when it comes to your large capex contracts and services categories, because I would say to some extent ERPs have matured for materials, but when it comes to your services and capex, that still remains a huge challenge. And then respect to your managing and competitively sourcing your entire spend through a category management program. Right. So these are some of the differences that we see among the organizations which are in different stage of maturity. And I think this kind of a famous quote from the management thinker, Peter Drucker, mentioned that if you can't measure, you can't improve. And there are a lot of studies which have been done, and it has been established that your KPIs drive your behavior change, and especially if it's linked to your performance evaluations and to your bonuses, it really helps in your improvement of processes. So if we look at, and then we talked about the KPIs. So one is definitely the organizations that have digitized their processes. One is that they are able to measure more KPIs, and these KPIs are categorized into your operational, the tactical, and the strategic level. And today, if you look at, everyone is measuring your KPIs on, I would say, your spend under management, or let's say your savings. But we look at some of these organizations which have kind of are advanced in respect to your digitizations and collaboration. They are measuring your KPIs on time to market for the new products. So they are looking at your internal client satisfaction, which is in terms of working with your production and operation teams on your business continuity, working with your sales team on your new product innovations, and measuring your cycle times across source to pay. Not just looking at process in silos like PR to PO, but looking at how we can optimize our cycle times for entire source to pay processes. And then once you have to kind of measure those KPIs, and as we talked about that, so these KPIs that organizations are measuring at your weekly, bi-weekly, or 6 depending on the criticality and how much of value it adds to your business. So if you look at the important thing is the organizations which are in the advanced stage are able to measure more KPIs frequently, and at the same time, because of the structure and the automated processes, they're able to drive those insights in a much faster manner. So how do we enable this measurement? And this is again one of the finding from the same survey. And we kind of spoke to this different customers across industries, trying to find out that what are the challenges that is basically kind of obstructing you to generate those kind of insights. And so if you look at one is when it comes to like your managing your processes on your supplier lifecycle management. So let's say your onboarding of suppliers, managing your supplier performances, which is a mix of, let's say, your qualitative quantitative information, managing your sourcing for your direct materials, for indirect materials, running your large RFQs, your contracts. All this information, most of the time we have seen is lying in different Excel sheets, or there are systems which are in silos, and they're not even talking to your ERP application. So that's where you kind of lack that visibility, generating your insights on your I would say your supplier performance, your contract performance, maybe able to predict your spend, know how your spends are changing, know how your buying patterns are. And one of the big problem is also your data quality, because of so many disintegrated systems. You don't have your common category masters, your common supplier masters. So the good news is that you can kill two birds with one stone, and the one is digitization, which can help you connect your processes, your stakeholders, help you improve your data quality, and also help you provide insights. So how do we do that, and what is that approach that can be taken? So if you look at a typical landscape, the organizations have made investments in the respective ERP systems. And today the thought process is changing, that so organizations are looking at where they can digitize their entire source to pay processes, so they're able to improve their data quality. And they're able to kind of use that kind of data model to generate those predictive insights. And if you look at today, unless you do that, so what happens is, in spite of all the development that has happened on AI, you have different models for your machine learning, you have models for your NLP. So in that case, unless you kind of adapt to a good data quality and make investment in technology tools that are good at collaboration, because as we talked about, with your increasing objectives, so there is a need for procurement to kind of look at data that's outside your organization, outside procurement, and also to connect to your stakeholders beyond procurement. And then just as a quick snapshot, and I have put a kind of just quick case study, and which demonstrate that once you kind of look at your people, process, and make investments in right technology, the kind of benefits that can be achieved, I would say not just for your indirect categories, but even for direct categories. And in this example, which can relate that automotive industries, which typically kind of do a zero-based costing, and they have a lot of control on the cost. But once you drive your visibility and insights, if you look at kind of a 0.5% saving on entire direct spend is a big thing. So there are kind of tangible benefits which are linked to your processes on this digitization, driving your visibility and even your hard dollars. So what next? And I think this is my last slide. And if you look at so the key here is to maybe assess your maturity respect to your the framework that you have in place to measure your KPIs at your strategic and operational level. Maybe do some skill assessment of your function, looking at maybe upskilling them on analytical skills. When it comes to your technology, maybe look at the technology, maybe that can help you kind of digitize your entire source to pay process, but which is a long journey. And but I think what's important to maybe look at putting up a strong data quality platform, and look at technology that can help you meet your immediate and the future needs. So I think that was kind of some of the quick insights that I wanted to present. And I think my time is over. I'm not sure if there's time to take some questions, or maybe we have Ivalua booth, and look forward to interact with you people to answer any questions or any ideas you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Anand. And here, we can take one quick question. So I'd like to ask you this question that we've got from our delegate. How do we solve the problem of low quality data in order to adapt with the demand and supply of the market in terms of procurement? Your thoughts on this, please.
See, I think that's a great question, and I think I was talking about having agility to kind of meet all your demand volatility. And it's important putting up your the right processes in place, and right technology which can help you improve your unified data masters on your items, your categories, and your supplies. I think that's a foundation that one has to put in place. And then the next thing is having your interconnected processes. As I talked about, having the visibility, driving, right from what you are negotiating to what you're contracting, and how those benefits are realized. And then on the top, you can have analytical layer. So I think if you look at those, it starts at the foundational layer, putting up the right data layer in the place, and then interconnected processes, and then on the top, you have analytical layer to provide those insights.
Right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Anand, for joining in. And in case any of our delegates would like to connect with him or his team, you're more than welcome to visit the Ivalua India stall right there in the booth section in our experience zone in the exhibition area. On the bottom of your screen, you can find the button, and I'm sure him and his team will be more than happy to exchange some great ideas with you. Thank you so very much for joining in, Mr. Anand.
Okay, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.